Hello everyone and welcome to the ultimate hints and tips guide to your Nexus 7. Over the next hour you will be treated to 50 tips to get the best out of your Nexus 7 device. Not only that, many of these tips can be used on other Android tablets. To help you navigate this huge guide, here is a list of those 50 tips. In the description you will also find time index points to every tip, so all you need to do is click on a link to take you directly to that tip. Do bear in mind that some of these videos may apply to a slightly older version of the operating system on the Nexus 7, but as you work through this guide you will see these changes highlighted. So bookmark this video and refer back to it whenever you need it. And if you think this video might be useful to any of your fellow Android tablet owning friends, then please share it. Enjoy the show and let the guide commence. Welcome to the world of the Google Nexus 7. I just hope you haven't got a defective one. The first thing you need to do is check the physical condition of the screen. There have been reports of the screen separating from the casing, so much so that a creaking noise can be heard when you press on the borders. So, run your fingers down the side of the Nexus and make sure it's flush and fixed to the sides, and give the edges of the screen a good press too. An additional tip I picked up after I first made this video is to hold the Nexus at a 40 to 45 degree angle. You should see the silver shell rim just above the glass at the opposite end of the tablet as you run along its surface. As you can see here, I have a tiny lift of glass, but I wouldn't have even spotted it had I not done this test, so I'm relatively happy that mine isn't a faulty unit. Next, download a free screen test application that changes the whole colour of the screen with a touch. This will help you check for any light bleeding in from the edges of the screen when it's black, and it will also let you check if there are any dead or fixed pixels anywhere on the screen. Finally, download a screen touch test application and give the screen a good seeing to with finger presses, gesture swipes and multi-touch actions. If the Nexus passes all of these tests with flying colours, then you're on your way. But just remain vigilant for the first couple of weeks, and if you do spot any problems, don't be afraid to return your device to wherever you bought it from. The 7-inch form of the Nexus lends itself more to use in portrait rather than landscape, but there will always be times when you want to tilt your device long ways. The problem is that's not going to do anything on the home screen, nor will it do anything in internet browsers either. That's because out of the box the screen rotation of the Nexus is locked. So to unlock it, simply swipe down from the top of the screen. This will display notifications and a few options. One of those options is to turn on screen rotation as demonstrated here. Now internet browsers and other applications should switch to landscape when you tilt the device. This however will never happen on the home screen. If you do want your home screen to tilt, you'll have to download another home launcher. Jellybean looks to be Android's best operating system yet, but it does come with some slight compatibility issues. Some applications in the marketplace will state that they are incompatible with the device, and that includes my own app at the moment. There is a way to resolve this, however it does require some legwork. The short answer is to install APK files manually from outside Google Play. The long answer involves the following. First of all, you need to find the app outside the marketplace, so you can download the installation APK file. In this example I found the BBC Olympic app on the XDA forums and I downloaded it to my computer. Next I uploaded the APK file to the cloud storage service Box. I then used the Box app on my Nexus to download the file onto the tablet. After doing this video, by the way, I realised that I could have just found the same link on the tablet itself and downloaded the APK file straight to my Nexus. Duh. Anyway, go to settings and make sure the unknown sources is ticked so you can install the APK file from outside the marketplace. With any luck you should be able to install the app you want. Be aware of course that this side loading trick can't guarantee that the app will work on the Nexus, and be careful downloading APK files from random locations. As Flash isn't officially supported on the Nexus, this is the only way of getting Flash on your tablet. But there'll be more on that in a future video. It turns out that Mr. Jobs was right. Flash, the web component that plays games and videos on the internet, is dying. The reports are that it will never be properly supported for the Jellybean operating system. That presents a problem because the internet is still awash with Flash components. Take the BBC iPlayer website for example. It uses Flash, which means you can't play videos on your lovely new tablet. So what are your options? Well, first of all, forget Google Chrome browser that comes with a Nexus. This application has never supported Flash on mobile devices and never will. You're going to find similar compatibility issues with other browsers too. The Dolphin browser, for example, simply tells you the option is switched off on Jellybean operating systems. Furthermore, if you try to find the Adobe Flash Player application in Google Play, you're not going to get very far because it simply isn't there. However, there is a solution to all this, but it does require a couple of steps. First of all, you need to find the Adobe Flash Player app outside of Google Play. I found it by searching the term Flash on Jellybean. I ended up at the XDA forum and downloaded it from there. I will include a link in the description to help you find it. While you're downloading the application, make sure you can install apps from unknown sources. You can do this through settings. Check my previous video on this for more details. This is a trick called side loading, and it allows you to install apps that are not officially compatible with your device. The notification bar at the top of the screen will tell you when the download has finished. Simply press on the download to install it. So that's part 1 done. Flash is now installed on your tablet. Now you need to find a browser that will allow you to use Flash on the internet. The browser that seems to work the best at the moment is Mozilla Firefox, that's currently in beta on the Google Play market. It's compatible with Jellybean, so pop off and download it now. Again, I'll include the link in the description. By the way, if you are wondering what Jellybean is, it's the name of the operating system your Google Nexus 7 runs on. Now, once that's installed, open up the browser and navigate to the website. For me, it's back to iPlayer. As you can see, the browser is detecting the mobile version, which isn't supported, so you may need to request the desktop site as demonstrated here. Now when I try to play the program, the browser detects the Flash content and a message appears saying, "Tap here to activate plugin." Well, let's tap it and see what happens.
This is one of the most sophisticated space vehicles ever built.
As you can see, it works great and it's quite stable too. Bear in mind though that I am on the BBC website here, so I can't guarantee the same stability on other sites. And nevertheless, Flash is now installed and working on your tablet. Enjoy! Just like a computer, the Nexus 7 has a print screen function, so you can take screenshots of what's currently displayed on your tablet. All you need to do is press 2 buttons at the same time for about a second. So if you press and hold the power button and the volume down button, the tablet will take a snapshot of your current screen just like this. These pictures are stored in a directory called Screenshot in your gallery. A nice touch to this feature is that if you swipe down to show notifications, it will give you a preview of the picture, and you can choose to share your picture through all the usual channels. You may have noticed that the Nexus 7 has a camera pointing at you all the time. What you may have not noticed is that there is no app out of the box that allows you to use this camera for taking pictures. Well, you can easily remedy this with an app such as Camera Launcher for Nexus 7. This will install a simple camera app that allows you to take pictures using your camera. Obviously, it's not a front-facing camera, so it has limited use, but we seem to get some fun out of it, but that's because we're crazy. A very simple tip today, but an important one which caught me out a little bit when I first started using the Nexus. Obviously, it has a headphone socket, and this is located on the bottom side of a tablet. And you would expect it to work like any other, and it does. But you just have to give it a bit of brute force. As you can see, I've plugged it in and it feels secure and fixed. But as you will hear, it's not properly plugged in.
Release of the Android operating system so far, we were taking...
So don't be afraid to push your headphones firmly in, and you'll feel them click in when you do. And yes, sorry about the Apple Buds. Those little icons in the top left-hand part of the screen are notifications. There are a couple of neat things you can do with them too. First of all, temporary notifications such as emails can be flicked away if you don't need to see them. The top notification here is a battery meter from an application, and it can be minimised by a pinch gesture. To maximise the notification again, simply unpinch. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of my Nexus screen, which leaves a preview picture within the notifications tray. Now I have two notifications with preview options, and again I can minimise and maximise both with pinch gestures, and when I no longer want the picture to appear in the notification tray, I can flick it away. I can't do the same thing with a battery meter because it's a permanent notification. So to remove this, I would need to go into the application itself and switch off the appropriate setting. The Nexus 7 is a noisy little device. When you take it out of the box, it's defaulted to have all its sounds turned on, so pressing on buttons and icons will produce plenty of clicking noises. And it goes completely to town if you use the keyboard. So if these sounds are a touch irritating and you want to save a bit of battery life, go to Settings, then Sound, and untick the Touch Sounds checkbox. To turn off keyboard clicks, go to Language and Input, then the Settings icon for the Android keyboard, and then untick Sound on key press. Now listen to this. Silence is bliss. Those boys at Google like to have a bit of fun and always inject a little bit of humour into their software. So here are a couple of small Easter eggs for you to find within Jellybean. First of all, if you go to Settings, then About Tablet, and tap on the Android version number a couple of times, the suite this operating system is named after will appear. Secondly, click on the microphone on the home screen and say this.
Do a barrel roll.
Magic! If you have seen my previous app review on Ultimate Rotation Control, you will be aware of its ability to force rotate the screen, and that includes the Nexus 7 home screen. However, one of the drawbacks of this default setting is that it prevents apps from rotating to their native setting, which can lead to some serious screen issues, as you can see in these two examples. It's most commonly found in games that must be played in a landscape mode. So, if you are running Ultimate Rotation Control and you run into this problem with an app, here's what to do. Simply go into the Ultimate Rotation Control app and select the Rotate per App setting. Scroll until you find the app with the problem, select it, and then choose the Manual option. Now, when the application loads, it should ignore Ultimate Rotation Control and default to its native screen mode. So now you can get the best of both worlds, with the ability to rotate the screen the way you want to and have applications rotate the screen when they need to. Here are a few small pointers on organising and managing your apps on your home screen. Usually when you install an app, if there is room, it will plonk an icon on the home screen so you have access to it. If it's not there, you can find it and all your other applications in the applications tray, which is the middle button in your dock. To place an application on the home screen, simply long press on it until the screen changes to your home screen and then drop it in an available space. To remove it from the home screen, long press on it again and drop it to the top of the screen where there is a remove graphic. Now, it's important to note that this does not uninstall the application from your device, it simply removes the icon from your screen. To uninstall an application, go back to the application tray, long press on it, and when you drag it to the top of the screen, this time there is an uninstall option. Now, you can't uninstall all applications, as some, like the Gmail app and other Google apps, are treated as system applications. Also note that different launchers may work slightly differently to the methods shown here. So let's say you're at work and you find a really cool application that you want to download. The trouble is you don't have your device to hand to download it to. Well, the Googleplay website can do that for you by pushing the application to your device. So find an app and click Install. It will show you all your Android devices and if they're compatible or not. Sadly, this app isn't, so I'll try another Football Scores app instead. This app is compatible with my Nexus 7, so if I press install, it will trigger the device itself to go and download it. Fortunately, I have my Nexus 7 at hand, so you can see how instantly the app was downloaded onto the device. Obviously, you will need to sign into your Google Play account to do this, so make sure the computer you are using is secure. Like all devices these days, the Nexus 7 comes with Bluetooth capabilities, and that leads to some interesting possibilities, one of which is to connect a Bluetooth mouse to your Nexus 7. I can't quite think of a decent reason to do this at the moment, but what the hell, it seems like fun. So here's how to do it. As with all Bluetooth toys, the first thing you need to do is pair the two devices together. So turn your Bluetooth mouse on and press the pairing button. Once your mouse is ready for pairing, go back to your Nexus 7 and go to Settings. Turn on Bluetooth and then press on the Bluetooth menu option. Now, because I had already tested this, my mouse was showing on screen, but what you will need to do is press search for devices in the top right hand of the screen. When it finds your mouse, press on it and you will be asked to put in a PIN number. Unless you've changed it, it's likely to be 0000. Press done and that should pair the two devices. Press on the mouse again and that should connect the two together, and then you're off and running. Now, whenever you turn on Bluetooth on the Nexus 7 and turn the mouse on, they should automatically connect together. A couple of things to note at this point. If you click and move a mouse, that acts as a swipe gesture. The middle mouse button should act as a scroll button, and if you do have a mouse back button, that should work as a back button. Be warned, however, that this is not guaranteed to work. I've been told by many people that it simply did not work for their Bluetooth mouse. It is a little bit of a trial and error process, so good luck. Don't like an app? Just get a refund. But just remember, you only have 15 minutes to return it. Allow me to demonstrate. Here is Nexus Photo Viewer, an application that enables you to plug in USB sticks to look at JPEG files. It's very early on in development, but it's a cool app with a lot of potential. It's a free application, but there is also a paid version of it that allows you to stream movie files and copy files directly onto your Nexus 7. So, let's purchase that and give it a play. Yep, it seems like an excellent app with a lot of potential, but maybe not quite ready to purchase. So, I'm going to return to the app page on the Google Play Market, which now has a refund button. It's there for 15 minutes after I purchase the app, and will instantly redebit my Google account if I press the button and refund. Now, you may only return an application once. If you buy it again, you can't return it again, and this only applies to applications bought through the Google Play Market. One thing most tablets suffer from is having to use an on-screen keyboard. They are fine for short bursts, but longer typing can feel restricted and tiring. But thanks to a USB OTG cable, you can, if you wish, plug in a full-size USB keyboard just like this. This requires no additional applications or modifications of any kind, so once you're plugged in, it will work just like a normal keyboard. And just imagine the possibilities here too. If you plug in a USB hub, you could use a keyboard and mouse at the same time. You can also take advantage of some standard keyboard features too. Using Shift plus cursor keys will highlight text, and Control C and V will give you copy and paste functionality, although this may vary from application to application. For more information on what a USB OTG cable can do, please see my dedicated video on the cable in the description. Most applications you install onto your tablet can be uninstalled quite easily, but system applications like the Google ones supplied with a tablet are a different matter. One reason you may want to get rid of apps is because they hog system resources or clutter your applications drawer, which can get very large very quickly. However, if you try to get rid of a system application by long pressing on it from the applications drawer, you won't find any option to uninstall it, but you can look at the application info. Also, if you go to Settings, Apps and then swipe to All, you can also find a list of all the system applications. Now, if you go to this system application, you will find an option not to uninstall it, but to disable it. This in effect hibernates the application so it no longer runs. It is also removed from your home screen and the application drawer. Of course, be aware that disabling system apps can have a significant impact on the way your tablet operates, so be careful when doing this. To reactivate the application, again go to Settings, Apps and swipe to All. Now the app will appear at the bottom of the list and will be labelled as disabled. Simply press on it and then press the Enable button to return it to the tablet. It won't return to home screens, but it will return to the application drawer so you can add it again if you wish to. You may not realise this, but Android tablets have multiple volume levels that control different sounds on your device. Take notifications for example. Every time you get a notification, you'll hear a noise, but the volume of that noise is independent from the master volume. The same applies to alarms as well. So, to adjust the volume levels, go to Settings and then Sound. At the top of the screen is an option called Volumes. Select that and you'll be presented with 3 volumes that you can set independently. The Nexus 7 battery life is solid. For average use, it probably needs charging every 2 to 3 days. Of course, it comes with a charging plug, but a nice addition to this is that you can detach the USB cable from the plug and use it to charge from other sources. So, let's plug it into a USB port on my laptop and see what happens. There you go, my laptop is charging my Nexus 7. A couple of notes, I connected this to a USB 2.0 port and it won't charge the device as quickly as plugging it into the mains. We have established in previous tutorials that it's difficult to plug memory devices into your Nexus 7, but the good old-fashioned way of plugging it into your computer still works perfectly well. So, use the USB cable that came with your Nexus 7 and plug it into your computer. It will recognise it both as a Nexus 7 and a hard drive. This means that you can treat it like any normal folder structure and browse through folders and files, rename them, delete stuff and so on. I advise leaving alone anything that's already on the tablet unless you know what you're doing. So in this example, I'm simply going to create a new folder and transfer a video over to the Nexus 7. Now let's transfer over a 350 megabyte file and see how long it takes. The next thing you need to consider is how to find these files once they're on the Nexus 7, because it doesn't come with a file browser out of the box. There are, however, plenty of free ones on Googleplay, and I've opted for ES File Manager, which looks like this. Now I've found the file I transferred over, let's give it a whirl and see what happens.
How do you like your pros? Seasoned? Is a member of Israel's A team, but with a short stack.
Notifications are a great thing to have on your tablet to keep you up to date with all the things you need to know. Unfortunately, however, some apps get a little overzealous and bombard you with notifications which you don't even want. The main culprits are games, basically sending you adverts through the notification system. Fortunately, there is a way to stop and disable notifications from individual applications. In this example, I'm going to disable the notification I get from a battery widget. To do this, go to Settings, Apps, and then find the application you are looking for. You will see at the top of the screen a tick box that says Show Notifications. What I will do now is untick this box and watch in the top left hand corner as my battery notification disappears. And when I show my notifications tray, the battery one has disappeared. To put notifications back on, all you need to do is repeat the steps and tick show notifications again. You may also need to start the application itself just to kick the notifications back on. You should really only need to use this method as a last resort because there should be an option within the application itself to turn notifications off. The Nexus 7 comes with a default home launcher. That's a screen with your icons and widgets that you go to when you press the home button. The Android operating system allows you to change this launcher if you wish, and you can get different ones from the Googleplay market. Some are free and some cost money. You might want to change your launcher because different ones can do different things. For example, Apex Launcher allows you to customize your icons with different pictures. You can also change the grid size of the screen so that you can fit more icons and widgets onto your home screen. And you can also tilt the screen into landscape mode, which is something that the default launcher of the Nexus 7 doesn't allow you to do. When you have multiple launchers on your device, you may need to clear and choose a new default launcher. Here's how to do it. First, go to Settings, then Apps, and then swipe to All. You will then need to find the launcher you are currently using. The Nexus 7 default is simply called Launcher. Press on it, and there you will find an option called Launch by Default. What this means is, when you press a home button, it defaults to this launcher. So, press the Clear Default button. Now, when you press the home button, because there is no default launcher, you will be given the option to choose a new launcher, which you want to return to. In this instance, I'm going to choose Go Launcher HD. This launcher allows you to resize any widget, whether or not it's supposed to be resized, with interesting consequences. Now, I haven't yet chosen a new default launcher. If I press the home button, I will again be presented with the option to choose a launcher. So when I press the home button now, I'm going to select Always and choose my launcher. Now that the launcher has been defaulted, pressing the home button will simply return me to this default. To choose a new one, I would again need to go to Settings and clear the default. I've only shown you the tip of the iceberg when it comes to launchers, and each one does require some setup, but you can do some very funky stuff with them. So experiment and see what you can do. I've found a couple more quirky things you can do with the Jellybean operating system, so if you don't want to know what they are, look away now. First up, remember last time when I showed you that if you go to Settings, About Tablet, and then press loads of times on the Android version, it shows you a huge Jellybean? Well, if you long press on this Jellybean, it explodes into loads of little ones which you can fling around the screen. It's a bit like Jellybean asteroids. And speaking of flinging, get some good practice in on this screen because you can do the very same thing with icons. Pick one up with a long press and then fling it to the top of the screen. This will remove the icon from the home screen. All Android devices come with a gallery application, which can let you view pictures you've either stored locally on the machine, is synced through the internet via connected accounts, and pictures you have actually taken with the device. What you might not know, however, is that the gallery comes with a couple of editing options. Go to a picture and press the three dots in the top right hand corner. This will give you a number of editing options, such as being able to rotate the picture and the ability to crop the picture if you want to. All you need to do is drag the blue borders to create the cropped picture. It saves as a new picture so you retain the original, which is handy as well. Of course, there are plenty of better picture editing applications out there, but for very quick and simple stuff, you need look no further than the built-in gallery app. When people watch my videos, I'm often asked how to create folders on home screens. Well, it's very simple. Take these three shopping applications sitting on my home screen. If I long press on one of them and then drag it over to another app, the icons are surrounded by a circle. This indicates that if I let go, a folder will be created. You can then pick up other apps and drag them into the folder and drop them there. If you long press on the folder, you can move it, and if you tap on the folder, it opens up to show you what's inside. You can then tap on the lettering to rename your folder. In this case, I'm going to call my folder Shopping. Once apps are in a folder, they work as normal, so you can tap the app to launch it. To remove applications from a folder, tap to open it and then long press on the app you want to remove and drag it away from the folder and drop it. If you keep decoupling apps, eventually you'll be left with no folder, which magically disappears. This tip is all about giving you a visual feedback from your tablet every time you touch it. This will be displayed as a simple white dot, which you can see here if I quickly swipe on the screen. The reason you might switch this on is to aid you in drawing applications or diagnosing issues with the touch sensors on your screen. To turn this on, go to Settings, and at the bottom of the screen you will find Developer Options. When you go into the screen, you will have to turn Developer Options on with the switch in the upper right. As this is a developer tool, you will have to agree to the warning, but so far I have had no issues with this setting turned on. The option you want is Show Touches under the Input section. So watch here as I turn the option on and then off again. The Nexus 7 is pretty fast to begin with, but you can, if you wish, make it artificially even faster with some tweaks to screen animations and transitions. Go to Settings and choose Developer Options. You can switch on the developer options by swiping on the On button in the top right hand corner of the screen. You will be warned that this could make apps misbehave, so there's a little warning for you. Now scroll down to the Drawing section and you will find two options: Transition Animation Scale and Window Animation Scale. Adjusting these alters the speed at which apps and windows transition. So watch here as I put the transition animation scale to 10 and see how slowly the screen closes. And then watch again how slowly the screen opens. The window animation scale determines the speed at which options appear. So again, I've slowed it right down to illustrate how slowly options will appear within an application. Now, I've shown you here how to slow things down, but you can speed things up by reducing the transition scales to 0.5 or turning them off completely, although I don't recommend going as far as that. If your Nexus 7 is misbehaving, it might be a good idea to give it the proverbial cold shower, or in this case, a cold boot or soft reset. This will boot up the tablet from scratch, clearing any cache and other problems that might have got stuck during your day-to-day use with the tablet. To do this, first turn off the Nexus 7, then, when you are turning it back on, you need to hold the power button and volume down button at the same time until you are presented with the following screen. This screen gives you a number of options, including restarting the bootloader and recovery mode. Ignore these for now and simply choose the start option. You will need to use the volume buttons to navigate and the power button to select, as the touchscreen is disabled at the moment. Now, a little word of warning: when I've done this on the Nexus 7, it's sometimes taken 5 minutes plus to boot, and I've had to hold the power button down as well, sometimes for it to kick in. So I recommend using this cold boot if you're only having some serious issues with the Nexus 7. After a couple of weeks and months, you may start to notice that the battery doesn't last as long as it used to when you first bought your tablet. Usually this has nothing to do with a degrading battery, and it's more to do with software power management. As you add more and more apps to your tablet, this can change radically. To check how power is used on your Nexus 7, go to Settings and then choose Battery. This will give you a good basic breakdown of where all your juice is going. The main culprits should always be screen, idle tablet and Wi-Fi. So if your battery is being drained more than you think it should be, use this screen as your first port of call and get rid of any power-hungry apps. Other apps like Facebook, Twitter and stuff that send you a lot of notifications will consume some power, but it shouldn't be that much. APK stands for Android Package Kit. Whenever you install an application from Google Play, you are in fact downloading an APK file. Now, I'm sure you've all encountered this problem on your Nexus 7, finding an app that states it's not compatible with your device. That doesn't actually mean it's not going to work, but Google Play is not going to let you have it. And sometimes you won't even be able to find the app, but you know it's there because you've seen it elsewhere or read about it. So how can I get this app on my Nexus 7? Well, if you have another Android device running an older operating system, you can try this. On my Samsung Galaxy S2 running Android 4.0, I'm going to download the CNN application because it's compatible with the device. This means that I have downloaded the CNN APK file from a safe and trusted source, Googleplay. The next thing I need is a file manager application that's capable of making backups of other applications. In this example, I'm using ES File Manager, which is free. Now, in ES File Manager, if I go to the App Manager tab and then long press on my CNN app, I have the option to back it up. What this does is create a copy of the APK file in a folder called Backup. Now I have the source APK file and I can do what I like with it. And what I'm going to do with it is upload the APK file to a cloud storage app. This could be Google Drive, Dropbox, Box and so on. I do this by long pressing on the backup of the app and choosing the share option. As a little side note, don't try sending the APK file to your Nexus 7 via Bluetooth, as it seems to reject the APK files sent in this way. You can zip it and Bluetooth it if you want to, however. Right, back to the illustrated method. All I need to do now is go back to my Nexus 7, open up a cloud storage app on my Nexus 7 and download the APK file. Remember, because technically you are installing this outside of Google Play, you will need to have your unknown sources ticked in your settings. See my other video in the description on how to do this. And there we are, CNN is now installed on my Nexus 7. Now, of course, this method is not guaranteed to work. It may be the case that some apps misbehave or don't work as intended, and don't expect too much from camera applications. But if you do have two Android devices, one with an older operating system, and you know there is an app out there that you really want on your Nexus 7 but can't find it in the market, then try this workaround. Like any electronic device, the Nexus 7 will occasionally receive software updates to its operating system. If you're connected to the internet frequently, then these updates should appear automatically. As shown here, when I unlock my tablet, an update is ready and waiting. You will also receive a notification prompt in the top left-hand corner of your screen, and a notification itself if you swipe down from the top of the screen. You can always manually check for updates too by going to Settings, choosing About Tablet at the bottom of the screen, and then System Updates at the top of the screen. This will show you when the tablet last checked for an update, and the button towards the bottom of the screen lets you check for any new updates. When an update is available, simply press the Install Now option and wait. Software updates usually take 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and your tablet may turn itself off and on again a couple of times, so don't be alarmed. Software updates should never interfere with your current data or settings. They are designed to improve performance, fix bugs, and introduce new enhancements. Now for a couple of final points. If you have modified or rooted your tablet, updates may not be automatically available, so check out any one of the many excellent Android forums around what to do on this. Also, software updates aren't always made available globally at the same time, so just be patient if you see and hear about other users getting a software update before you. The Nexus 7 stock operating system comes with a dock that works very much like your mobile phone. It enables you to put 6 icons within a dock at the bottom of your screen that remains fixed even when you switch home screens. This is the ideal place to put your favourite apps so that they are accessible all the time. Moving icons in and out of the dock relies on the tried and tested method of long pressing. So, long press on an icon to either drag it in or out of the dock. Remember, the limit is 6, but you can have less if you want. If you have seen my previous videos, you will know that you can put multiple apps in a folder. You can then drag these folders into your dock. The one drawback is that if you put a folder in the dock, you can't see its name. Also note that you cannot put widgets in your dock either. The icon in the middle of the dock is your app drawer, which acts as a shortcut to your entire application library. This is a fixed icon that cannot be moved from the dock, so don't bother trying to do a long press on it because it will always end up sending you to your app drawer. Widgets are wonderful magical things that breathe life into your tablet, but they can quickly fill up your screen. But the great news is many widgets are resizable and will automatically adjust their size to fit a screen. As you can see, this news widget is far too big for the screen I'm dragging it onto, but look how it resizes itself once I drop it on the screen. Simple. I can do the same thing with this battery widget, which takes up 4 spaces but smartly resizes itself to just 1 space. Now, although the screen is full, I can still shuffle things around a bit if I want to. If I long press on any icon or widget, I can pick it up and drag it around the screen. As you can see, it's pushing other widgets and icons around so it can find space, and when I let go, it will settle in its spot. Life used to be simple for the Nexus 7 notification tray. All you had to do was swipe anywhere from the top of the screen and the notification tray with options would be displayed. Now it's not so simple. Since the Jellybean 4.2 update, look what's happened. The screen lock and setting buttons have disappeared. Surely they haven't taken away functionality. Fortunately, they haven't. They've just put it somewhere else. So, if you swipe down on the right hand section of the top of the screen, a whole bunch of settings are displayed. These include Wi-Fi, brightness, screen rotation, profiles, and many more. So, to summarise, swipe down from the left side of the screen to bring up notifications, and swipe down from the right hand side of the screen to bring down settings. It's easy when you know how, but I bet some of you didn't. There are 3 button options at the bottom of your Nexus 7. You probably use 2 of them all the time, but the third maybe not so much. Here is what it does. It's a task manager list, and it shows you all the applications you've recently been using. It's a great way to jump from one application to another, no matter what application you're currently in. It's a chronological list, so if you jump to an application, that app becomes the first in the list. If you wish, you can remove items from the list you no longer want to see by swiping them away. Now this might be all common knowledge to you, but here is a little secret you might not be aware of. Long press on an application and 2 options will appear. The first option simply removes it from the list, just like swiping it away. But the second option displays application information. From this screen you can do numerous things, such as a force stop, clear defaults, and even uninstall it. It's a useful extra shortcut to complement the task manager list. Here is a quick tip about how you can manage pictures within the gallery app that comes with the Nexus 7. As you can see, I can scroll through each individual picture in a full screen mode and they look very nice and pretty. However, if I pinch out, I can now see pictures to the left and right, so it looks more like a slideshow. Now at this point, if I want to delete any of these pictures, I can simply swipe up or down to throw them off the screen and delete the picture. If I now back out of this slideshow, you can see that the picture I flicked away has gone. Finally, if you want to get the slideshow view from this screen, use the option in the top left hand corner and select Film Strip. And again, side scroll to view, swipe up and down to remove. A simple but handy tip. The internet remembers a lot of things about you, especially Google, and if you go into the gallery on your Nexus 7, you may be in for a little bit of a surprise. All these pictures are images I've either taken with the Nexus 7 or transferred over. These ones, however, are from yesteryear. Old profile pictures, images from a blog, stuff I haven't seen in ages. How on earth did they end up on here? Well, the telltale sign is this tiny symbol next to the album name. These are all Picasa albums on the internet, and they sync with your Android device. There are 2 steps to removing these images from the gallery, and the first thing you need to do is to turn off the option that syncs them to the Nexus 7. To do this, go to Settings, then Accounts, and then choose your Google account. On here, at the bottom of the screen, there is an option that says Instant Upload. Untick that box. Next, go to Settings and then choose Apps. Swipe over to the All column and then find the gallery application. Once you're on the application screen itself, there will be a button marked Clear Data. Press it. Please note that while this shouldn't delete photos stored on the Nexus 7, it may delete temporary images, images transferred over via Bluetooth and so on. So do be careful. Now if I return to the gallery, you can see that I have all the images I should have and all the Picasa images have disappeared. And just to prove a point, if I go back to settings and turn on instant upload and then return to the gallery again, you can see that the pictures from Picasa return. And as if by magic, there they are. The new Daydream feature for Android turns your tablet into a permanent display screen when your tablet is docked or charging. It displays different things depending on the app it comes from, and this feature is being added to more and more applications every day. To turn this feature on, you will need to go to the settings screen and then choose display, and then there will be an option to choose Daydream. On this screen you can flick the switch to turn the feature on, and there is also an option to choose whether you wish Daydream to activate when the tablet is docked, charging, or both. Each Daydream has its own personal settings tab where you can adjust how the Daydream behaves. For example, the clock settings allow you to change the display from digital to analog. There is also an option at the top of the screen to test how the Daydream will work. Now, some Daydreams are interactive, such as this photo gallery that allows me to move pictures around the screen. The Google Currents Daydream shows snippets of news articles, which, when you press on them, go into further detail. Some Daydreams even launch the main application. It's just a case of experimenting and seeing what you can discover. Finally, there is a little Easter egg you can uncover with Daydreams, and if you want me to spoil it, carry on watching. Go to the settings screen and scroll to the bottom and choose About Tablet. On the Android version number, tap it a few times and this will show a large jelly bean. Long press on it and it will explode into loads of tiny jelly beans. Flick 10 or so of them off the screen and that will unlock the jelly bean mode in Daydream. Now, maybe I should plug in a controller and press L1, start, left, X and select. I wonder what that would unlock. Up until the Jellybean 4.2 update of the Nexus 7, you had developer options. However, if you go to the settings and scroll to the bottom of the screen, I bet you haven't currently got this option that I'm pointing to right now. This feature has now been hidden from view, but here is how to unlock it. In settings, go to the bottom of the screen and press About Tablet. At the bottom of this screen is something called Build Number. All you need to do is tap on this 7 times and this will unlock developer options again in the main settings screen. Now obviously developer options are used mostly by people designing apps, but there are some features you can take advantage of, such as visual input and speed up transitions. I have featured these in previous videos, so check them out if you want to know more details. A word of warning though, you mess about with developer options at your own risk. Software upgrades are usually a very good thing, but occasionally they can be a bad thing. Take Google Currents for example. I love using this news aggregating application, but recently they went and updated it, and now all the menus are on the left and the navigation's changed and it runs slowly, and basically, in my opinion, it's not as good as what we had before. So, can I return to what I had before, to downgrade the application so to speak? Well, the answer for pre-installed system applications is yes. Go to the application tray, that's the middle button in your dock at the bottom of the screen, find the application you want, long press on it to pick it up and then drag it to the top of the screen where it says App Info. On this screen for system applications there is an option that says Uninstall Updates. Press on it and it will ask you if you want to uninstall all the updates for this application. You may also be asked if you want to replace the application with the factory original. Press yes and that will rewind you to what you had before. Once you have completed this action, you should notice that the version number of the application has rolled back to an earlier version number. Now, doing this shouldn't remove any personal settings or data, and as you can see, Google Currents is back to the way I like it with this nice front-end page. Just a final point of note, unfortunately this cannot be done with applications downloaded from the marketplace. You would need to uninstall the application completely, and then find a specific APK file for the version you would like to use. In my previous basics video, I showed you how to roll back system applications such as Google Currents to a previous version. So the next question is, how do you keep them like that? Well, applications are usually defaulted to automatically update when updates are available. So in order to stop that, go to the Googleplay Application Store and on the main home screen you will see a little arrow pointing down in the top right hand corner of the screen. This will show you all the applications you've currently installed on the tablet and if there are any updates available. If you press on it, the app will give you a few options including Update, if there is any available, and Open. Just underneath these options is a tick box that says Allow Automatic Updating.
Untick this and it will keep the application in its current version whether or not an update is available. Now this can be done with all applications, not just system applications, but remember that once you update an application downloaded from the Google Play Market, you can't roll it back to previous versions like system applications. If you've been an avid viewer of my basics videos, and I know you all are, you will know that if you long press on an icon to pick it up and then dump it on top of another icon, this creates a folder. You can then drag more icons into the folder to make it bigger and therefore organise your home screens more efficiently. And here is my home screen, and as you can see it's full of folders with lots of applications. However, the screenshot of a folder always displays the first icons you put in a folder, and these aren't always necessarily the ones you use most often. Take my games folder for example. I don't often play these 3 games shown here, yet they are displayed as my folder icon because they were first in the folder. I sometimes forget that more popular games are in this folder. So to make different icons appear on the folder icon, pick up these apps within the folder and then drag them to the top left of the folder as illustrated here. Now my home screen shows the folder with the new icons I put at the top of the list. It might be a small visual tweak, but when you've got folder icon OCD like myself, things just have to be perfect.
I'm asked this question so often, so I thought I would do a basics video on it. What is that live wallpaper you use on your videos? It looks fantastic. And you are right, it is fantastic, and I love it. And I've been using it for over a year now. This live wallpaper is called Galactic Core, and it's free from the Google Play Market. And unlike many other wallpapers that affect the performance of your home screens, this has no impact. Everything still runs perfectly. So thanks for asking, and enjoy the wallpaper. The Nexus 7's battery life is pretty solid, but we're always looking for ways to make it even better, and this little tip might just increase your battery life, but it does come at a price. By default, your tablet's Wi-Fi is always on, always checking the internet and always consuming power. But you can turn this off when you're not using the tablet. To do this, go to Settings, then choose Wi-Fi, and in the top right of the screen you'll find a little button with 3 dots. Press on it and then go to Advanced Wi-Fi. On this screen is an option labelled Keep Wi-Fi on during sleep. Set this to Never. Now watch when I bring the tablet out of sleep mode. The Wi-Fi icon is blank, but then it kicks in and starts connecting to the internet when you bring it out of sleep mode. It's very quick and it should connect by the time you open an application. The major drawback of this, however, is that you won't get any notifications, such as email notifications. They all flood into your tablet when you bring it out of sleep mode. So it's a trade-off. Give it a try and see if you prefer putting your Wi-Fi to sleep or keeping the settings as they are. If you have been following my basics series for a while, you should now know that your tablet is always talking to the internet, and it's always bringing up new notifications, such as this email. This is called auto-syncing, and a lot of apps do it, and it consumes power, so here is how to turn it off. First, go to Settings, and then Data. In the top right-hand corner of the screen are 3 dots, and this is an options menu. Press on it, and then choose the Auto Sync option. This is a global setting and it will stop all of your applications from syncing. So that's no emails, no Facebook updates and no tweets. You'll have to sync everything manually. To do this, scroll down the settings page to your accounts. Here is my email account, and as you can see the auto sync icon is greyed out. So I have to go into the account and then press on the email account itself to trigger a manual sync. And in this instance, as you can see, a new email arrives. This is my Google account, and as you can see there's all sorts of stuff that syncs with the tablet. Again, it's another one of those trade-offs. Keep your tablet bang up to date with all the latest content from the internet, or save a little bit of battery life. Back in the data usage screen, I'm going to turn auto sync back on. And now if I go back to my Google account, you can see that the sync is now in progress and all sorts of things are syncing again with the internet. Bluetooth seems to come as standard these days, and the Nexus 7 is no different. That makes sharing files between Bluetooth devices a simple task. So I'm going to show you how to transfer something from another device to the Nexus 7. First of all, you need to pair the 2 devices together. To do this, you need to turn on Bluetooth on both devices. On the Nexus 7, that's done by swiping down from the top right of any home screen and choosing Bluetooth. When you switch on Bluetooth on the Nexus 7, it will search for any visible Bluetooth devices, so make sure your other device is visible. After a few seconds, the Nexus 7 should find the other device, press on it, and it will confirm the device you are trying to pair to with a passkey. If they both match, press OK, and they will be paired forevermore. Now it's time to transfer some files from one device to the other. In this example, I'm going to send a picture from the mobile phone to the Nexus 7. Most applications, such as the gallery, will include a share or send button. Press on it and choose the Bluetooth option. This will take you to the device's Bluetooth screen. You will now be able to select the device you previously paired to, and that should automatically start sending a file to the Nexus 7. Now the Nexus 7 needs to accept the file that's been sent to it. So scroll down from the top of the screen and you should have a notification for file transfer. Press on it and choose accept, and the file will start sending from the mobile phone to the Nexus 7. If you swipe down from the top of the screen again, you can watch the progress of the file as it's transferred. Once the transfer is complete, you can press on a notification and that will take you to the Bluetooth file transfer list. Press on it and then choose an application to open a picture, and voila! We now have a picture transferred from the mobile phone to the Nexus 7. For later reference, you can see what files have been received via Bluetooth by scrolling from the top right of the home screen, choosing Bluetooth, and in the top right hand corner there is a Show Files Received option. Alternatively, if you have a file browser application, all Bluetooth files are stored in the Bluetooth folder. Of course, Bluetooth has many practical uses beyond file sharing, but this basic video should help get you started. This may come as a surprise to you, but the Nexus 7 doesn't come with a file browsing application. Now, on a tablet you may have no need for one, but it's always useful to have one. There are plenty of free ones available from the Googleplay market, such as this one called ES File Explorer. It will show you all folders and files on a device, and while it's probably best to leave most folders alone, it is useful to know where some files are kept. For example, files transferred via Bluetooth save to a Bluetooth folder. Files downloaded off web browsers are usually stored to a folder called Download, and camera pictures are stored exactly where you think they would be, the DCIM folder. So my advice is to download a file manager, just so you know you have one if you need one. You never know, you might need it when you have no access to the internet and can't download one. As you browse websites and use applications, the chances are you will end up downloading stuff onto your Nexus 7. Take this quite delectable array of pictures from one of the leading technology YouTube channels on the internet. I want to download one of these pictures, and I'm going to do that by long pressing on the picture and choosing the Save Image option. Now watch the screen as I perform this action. A little down arrow is going to display in the top left hand corner of a Nexus 7 screen. This is a download notification, and if you swipe down for your notifications, you will see that my downloaded picture is right there. Now this is all very good and convenient, but after a few hours or so, the chances are you'll have removed your notifications. So where does the download end up? Well, if you go to your Applications drawer, that's the middle button on your dock, you'll find an application called Downloads. Open the application and you'll be shown a list of all the things you've downloaded onto your Nexus 7, starting with the most recent, which is, of course, my picture. If I return to the download list, I can choose older files to look at. Now, for more advanced users who want even more control over their downloaded files, you can use a file manager such as ES File Manager to locate the downloaded files. To make things nice and easy, these files are stored in a folder marked Download. Copy and paste is one of the greatest things in the world ever, and even though you might not have access to a keyboard, this feature is available on your Nexus 7, although it's not perfect. Let's start with a simple copy and paste scenario. Here is some text I want to copy. The first thing you need to do is long press on the text to bring up a highlighter. Then drag the ends to highlight your text. Now you can use a copy button to copy that text. Bear in mind that each application may work slightly differently when it comes to copying your text. Now go to the point where you want to paste your text and long press again. This will display a paste button. Press it and there is your copied text. You can copy text from one application to another too. In this example, I am selecting text from a news story on the BBC News application. As you can see, the copy button is at the top of the screen, so just be conscious of the fact that there is no uniform way of doing this copy action on Android tablets. So now that I have my copied text, I'm going to switch back to my Google Drive document. Again, if I long press on the document and then use the paste button, it will copy the text into the document. It's fantastic when it works. Here is Amazon Kindle. If I long press on the text here, it does get highlighted, but only to do a dictionary search on the word or for you to highlight the text within the application. Now, this may be down to copyright reasons, but on some applications, you can't even do a long press to highlight text. Take Appy Geek, for example. Nothing at all happens here, so just be aware that copy and paste is a little limited on your Nexus 7. For a long time, this is what you had when it came to Android devices. One user account. This is my wallpaper, and these are my programs, and these are my widgets, and these are all the wonderful things that make the tablet mine. But what if you share the tablet with someone else? They obviously want their wallpapers, programs and preferences. And now it's easy to do. Very easy in fact, by adding a new user. And here is how you do it. Go to settings and then choose the user option. Now you can do several things here, such as updating your user account, setting a new nickname, even adding some notes about your own account. But what we're really interested in here is the new user button. So let's press it and see what happens. When you choose to add a new user, you will be warned that any user can accept updated app permissions. So there is still a shared element to different users. But other than that, each user will have their own environment to play in. If you choose to set up your new user now, you'll be taken back to the lock screen, and this is where you will see two pictures at the bottom of the screen. This is where you can switch from one user to the other. So if I press on my own face here at the bottom, it's going to switch back to my original user account. And as you can see, there's my wallpaper. Press on the new user account and it will switch back to the new wallpaper, which we haven't yet changed. In this example, we'll set up an account with no email, just so that we can see what the home page looks like. And as you can see, it looks just like the Nexus 7 when you first got it. The wallpapers, apps and widgets have defaulted back to their original state. Your new user is ready to start playing with their own environment. Of course, to download applications, the new user will have to have an email account, and that does get a little bit complicated, and as this is just the basics, I'll leave it there for now. To switch accounts, all you need to do is lock your tablet, then press the power button, and you're back at the lock screen where you're ready to switch from one user to the other. So let's return to my account. And obviously, if you want to delete a user, you will need to go back to settings and press the delete button. As I've said, there is a lot more to multiple user accounts, so use this as a guide to get you started. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please click that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And if you're hungry for more videos, subscribe. It's free after all.